There are only a couple of professionals in the world who should wear a serious face all the time. One of those would be the Royal Guards. They aren't just any ceremonial decorative soldiers. In fact, standing still is just one of their many jobs, and the most important part of their already challenging job is to protect the royal family. But if such serious professional soldiers do something intentionally or even unintentionally funny, then wouldn't it make the whole joke even funnier? So getting back to the video, what if someone imitates you? Will you get irritated? That's exactly what happened with this girl who is imitating the march of the Royal Guard in a funny way. It's in no way flattery, but a cheap act of poking fun at you. So the Queen's Guard didn't enjoy the imitation of their trademark march. Guess what happened next? The Queen's Guard yelled, "Get back!" Just look at the facial reaction of the girl. She was utterly shocked by the sudden scream. Don't you agree she deserved it as well? When their years of strutting are done all wrong, then the guards don't enjoy it at all, but that doesn't mean that they just stand still and keep mum all the time. However, there are times when the Royal Guards enjoy the tourist pranks. For instance, in this one, the guard breaks his rigid character and ends up smiling and even welcomes their friendly kiss on the cheek. Bree and Chrissy were pulling the guard's leg by talking nonsense non-stop, and at one point in time, the guard couldn't take it any longer and ended up smiling. Just as he was about to break into a smile, he marched off, but when he came back, he allowed the girls to give him a peck on his cheek. With his permission, of course. Similar to this one is yet another clip where you find a royal guard marching back and forth, but for a fraction of a second, you can catch a glimpse of his smile as he notices that he's being captured by the cameraman for a long time. These clips are funny because it breaks the myth of royal guards having no emotion. Do you want to watch the expression of a person who's trying real hard not to smile? Then check this one out, where a guy continuously cracks jokes facing the camera, but standing in an earshot distance of the royal guard. At one point, the guard almost cracks a smile, but quickly moves his head strap to cover his mouth, thus saving himself from not breaking his character, but at the same time having the weirdest look. Boy, I sure pity the guy. Our next video might catch you, no pun intended, off guard, as you'll find a royal guard dancing. Yes guys, you heard us right. This royal guard was off his duty and ended up having a dance-off with a bystander. He's definitely going to get in trouble once this video gets out, but not before dancing it all out. You might have seen royal guards marching, but have you ever witnessed them moonwalking? We are of course talking about the infamously innovative dance invented by the king of pop himself, Michael Jackson. In this clip, you'll find a Wellington barracks moonwalking in front of his colleagues during their off-duty time. A rare sight that you never get to see as a tourist. Do you want to know what else they do while taking a break? They would even have a sword fight like the one in this clip right here. Unlike kids, however, these soldiers have a real sword to fight with, but also a fake one just for fun. However, if you were to dance right next to the royal guard who's on duty, then you are in trouble. Check out this clip where the girl ends up dancing right next to the royal guard who's standing dead still until he loses his cool, stomps his feet, and marches right off. The reaction of the dancing girl is absolutely priceless. Yet another clip where you'll find the extent to which the patience of the guard is tested. The royal guards have a set of rules, and among them is no one, yes, not a single person, is allowed to stand on their pathway. And the tourists just love to break this one golden rule every chance they get. In this clip, you would find the Queen's Guard shoving off a woman who happens to stand in his way. The shock on the woman's face is something expected. She would have given a piece of her mind if it wasn't for the guard who did it. Who do you think is at fault? The guard who shoved because she blocked his marching path, or the woman who got shoved? Let us know in the comments down below. Yet another such incident took place when a guard marched straight into a lady who was standing in his way. Like, come on guys, when are you going to learn? Standing right on the pathway and not allowing the guards to perform their duty well deserves this kind of shove. Simple rule, stand behind the borders. Is that really so hard to do, lady? Forget the lady. What if a young vandal ends up disturbing the guard on purpose? Yelling "get off the fence" is the least the guard on duty can say to a kid who is sitting on the fence to irritate the guard intentionally. Giving the kid the fright of his life may teach the vandal a lesson. Yet another irritating behavior of tourists is trying to touch the ceremonial soldiers. Fortunately, a royal guard taught this man a good lesson, and that's why he'll never try that trick again in his life. This tourist got the fright of his life when he tried to touch the Queen's guard until the guard yelled, "Don't touch the Queen's guard." The man literally jumped back. But of course he deserves that, as he was already irritating the guard by clicking selfies standing pretty close to him. After all, they're humans too. Would you enjoy it if a stranger tries to invade your personal space constantly? In this clip, you can find a royal guard who marches with his peer and ends up slipping off right at the front of Edinburgh Castle in front of a group of tourists. However, a considerate tourist helps him right up and lightens the mood. Another similar clip is where the guy is yelled at by the royal guard for disturbing them through his dance movements. It didn't just frighten the guy, but also another royal guard. The royal guard has a huge tolerance level, but being disrespectful to royalty is not something they can put up with. Better to yell than to keep mum if you ask us. Stand clear is the mantra of the royal guards. So once again, we have a clip where the Coldstream guard who guards the Tower of London yells the mantra in order to make way during the changeover of the guards. Make way are the words that frightened a woman in the crowd who didn't expect the guards to break their silence. We hope you understand that the Queen's guards don't just stand still all day. For instance, they also need to march 10 paces, turn left, and turn back to their original position every 10 to 15 minutes. Remember, these are beings made of flesh and blood, so they need that kind of movement in order to stay conscious and avoid having their blood pooling down in their legs. However, on rare times during those marches, they tend to slip, perhaps due to less friction and also the slippery surface, as well as the soldiers' unusually polished boots. Yet another such incident took place when a Queen's guard ended up slipping on a manhole right in front of their guarding station during a changeover. And not just that, he also slipped sideways and dropped his gun, but thankfully it was unloaded. The guard who slipped handles the situation by giving half a smile, as he's not opposed to smiling at all. As many conspiracy theorists believe, they are not robots with puffy bearskin hats. They're human beings that comprise of flesh and blood and also have emotions. Surprise, surprise. Do you think the falling of the guard was funny? Was it funny or sympathetic? Whatever it may be, it sure was embarrassing for the soldier though. Are you curious to know more about the royal guards? Don't forget to check out the other video on our channel, which will reveal the secrets of the royal guards which they don't want you to know. So which of these clips did you find real funny? Do let us know in the comments section below.